Okay, guys, we're going to go over our trades for Monday, the 25th of November. We had 5 trades this week on our first opening week, and I'm pretty happy with the results. So the first one we got is on Tuesday on the pound dollar at 6 o'clock. Let's pull this up. So we was coming into an area right after there was a big jump between the Friday close of last week and the Sunday opener this week, which I haven't actually experimented how far that throws out indicators and things like that might have a negative impact. But since I haven't tested for that, we're just taking any signals we get. So we was coming across here, get a big sell signal, but the STC hasn't turned red yet. Still coming through, and at the end of the 5 o'clock candle, or I believe, this candle prints, we get our sell signal, and the end of the 5 o'clock candle at 6 o'clock was our entry as the STC turns red. Now, as this was my first real live trade, I did butcher this a little bit. I had the emotions come into play, and I thought it was coming down. I thought, it's going to go down further. I'm not going to have a valid trade if I don't take it now. So I entered a little bit early at 17.55, at which point it retraced up, and I would have gotten a better entry. So this is definitely a C or a D for trade executed. But other than that, other than the minor little execution error, that's still a good signal. Starts to move down to the next candle, but unfortunately pops straight back up. Then our second trade was the pound yen on the Wednesday. Let's pull this back over. Yeah, here we go. So I just got some drawings here, old drawings. Looks like this will be the trade. This was a very quick one, I remember this. So yeah, taking the 1 o'clock candle signal, the end of that at 2 o'clock. We get the buy and the STC print screen at the same time. As we know, that's a God setup, targeting just above the 50 moving average as well, the bottom of the most recent low. But unfortunately, the next candle breaks us down. That was our first 2 losses. Let's switch back. Next up, we have our first, technically a win. So yeah, these next 2 are very interesting. These next 2 come in a pair. I'll explain why. So yeah, anyway, on the Wednesday, we had the Aussie dollar yen. Let's pull this back over. I should probably figure out a better system for switching between these. So we had the Aussie dollar yen here. We've got a really nice signal. It's looking quite oversold. Got some key areas marked down here. And we get a buy signal as just before the STC is moving through the blue, which we know could be very good. And the next candle, this was at 11 o'clock. We actually take the signal at 12 on Wednesday night or Thursday morning. And it dances around a bit. 6 in the morning, it comes back down. And by 8 o'clock the next day, 7 o'clock the next day, the STC's at the top already. And we was only about halfway to our take profit. Notice some rejection here, but we're still not seeing any red. So we're still not exiting. Do not want to break any rules. Just want to execute perfectly. However, I had deviated here slightly. So I'm looking at this candle here on Thursday night at 10 o'clock. And what I hadn't realized in my back testing, that currency pairs where a common currency is shared can often be correlated. And so I'm looking at this Aussie dollar yen, and I'm it's hovering between break even and plus 20, that sort of thing. And I'm looking at the pound yen at this point. Let's go to the next candle. And so yeah, the pound yen on the 11 o'clock candle, when a candle closes at 12, it paints a big bearish sell signal. STC just turned red and sell signal. And so I see this signal, and I'm also in the dollar yen at the same time. We're just a break even now. It's the same candle. And I'm just thinking the yen's just coming down. I'm looking at the euro as well. The euro yen looks like it's just coming down. The USD yen, things like this. And so this is where I deviated from the strategy. I thought I'm going to exit this position, I'm going to go long in the pound yen. And so this worked out very well because I exited here for the plus £3.29. Let's pull this back up. This is this trade here. And if I hadn't have exited on that candle, we would have hit the stop loss for negative 50. And then furthermore, so exit my position here for break even. Furthermore, Then we go on to the pound yen. This was a beautiful trade. We've got 2.77 RR. Targeted here at the very bottom of the most recent low. This low goes back to 1st of October, nearly 2 months since we've been at this price. So I felt pretty happy with that as a target take profit. So target in the first candle was boom, straight down. This is plus 60 in the first hour. Really, really nice move. And then the second hour closes it out for a very juicy first win. And that was equating to 130. So I'm really interested with the decisions I made. I'm really happy and interested with the decisions that become apparent there, looking at the correlation between the currency pairs. Because in my back testing, I never got a valid sell signal here. And so I would have stuck, my back testing says you stick in your trade unless, of course, take profit or stop loss hits, or an opposing signal to my current position comes. So if I'm in a long, a sell signal comes. If I'm in a short, a buy signal comes. But I never got that here. Here's the point I got out. And in my back testing, I would have recorded this as a negative 50 loss. And that would have been written down on the books. But in this case, I was able to get out as the other markets were telling me that, it's just washed, or the yen's just like done. But the algorithms and the coding hadn't exactly picked that up on the Aussie dollar yen yet. So this is super interesting. This could present a whole new world of possibilities of things to test and back test, and how I might be able to begin using the market correlations in conjunction with each other to make even better established decisions. But I do need to be careful with this, of course, as I haven't tested that, and I haven't really established a way I could consistently test this yet. There may be a way, but yeah, I don't want to just start firing off decisions based on how other markets are looking too willy-nilly, because that is then stepping wildly outside the realms of the system that I've established and I'm trading with, essentially. But yeah, other than that, a really good week. The final trade we had was on the Friday for the pound dollar. Final day of the trading week. We get a big rejection hour candle up here, pushing away from highs it had touched 2 weeks ago. And it almost looks like a head and shoulders had completed. Then we get a lovely sell signal. So we took that, and it skirted about all day, but unfortunately hit the stop loss on the 5 o'clock candle. And so yeah, that leaves us down £16 for the week, which, to be honest with, I'm really happy. All I wanted to do, my main goal for this week and my main goal for the next 4, 5, 6 weeks, is just to trade correctly, just to execute correctly, not deviate from the system too much, other than this the example I just showed you there. But yeah, not to let my emotions get into play, and just trust the system, trust what I'm doing, and hopefully that's going to pay off. But yeah, we've got next week coming up. Very excited to carry on with this. I realise with the 33% win rate that it does have, there may prove to be a couple of very brutal weeks. But this is, big drawdowns are possible with this strategy. But that is something I'm aware of and something I have to take on the chin. So yeah, we're gonna trade this into next year, 2025. Trade over the summer, see how this goes. But I'll be bringing these updates each week. Okay, see you guys next week.